Alice Walker's novel, The Color Purple, has resonated with millions of readers around the world because the story and its themes are both personal yet universal. She depicts both pain and love, a mother's enduring love for her children, and hope and reconciliation. I can relate to her story because growing up a black girl in America, I too struggled against racial discrimination and felt stripped of my culture and history. The history of the oppression of blacks is not taught in American public schools. When Alice Walker wrote The Color Purple, she insisted on shining a light on how centuries of racism and oppression had broken down the black family structure, creating a dysfunctional, patriarchal culture where sexual, physical, and psychological abuse of women and girls was widespread. With her words, she gave a voice to the invisible victims in the shadows of American history. Only by reading the works of black women authors like Alice Walker did I learn my legacy. The Color Purple is set in the post-Civil War South, when freed slaves were promised 40 acres and a mule, but found themselves once again enslaved and oppressed. White slave owners rented small pieces of land and shacks to freed slaves and took 50% of the profits from each harvest. The black farmers also had to pay the white landowners for seed, fertilizer, tools, and food and other supplies. The cycle of poverty was nearly unbreakable. This system continued for 85% of black farmers and over 3 million families from the 1870s until the 1950s. The children of sharecroppers received little schooling and worked the land with their families. Alice Walker was born in Eatonton, Georgia in 1944. She was one of 8 children from a sharecropping family. But Alice Walker's mother believed in her education and saved enough money to help send Alice to college. Alice Walker met Martin Luther King Jr. while a student at Spelman College in Atlanta in 1962. She became an activist for civil rights and women's rights and participated in the March on Washington in 1963. Alice Walker began writing as a young girl, and in 1982, she published The Color Purple. She told the story of a 14-year-old black girl named Celie, living in the rural South. The book became a bestseller and won the 1983 Pulitzer Prize for Fiction and the National Book Award. The novel has been turned into a movie and a Broadway play that is now touring the country. The Color Purple is considered controversial due to its explicit descriptions of taboo subjects such as abuse, misogyny, rape, homosexuality, and cruelty, and has been banned from many schools for decades. But books like this must be studied. History may be uncomfortable, but those who ignore their history are doomed to repeat it.
But I don't intend to get all in there anymore. I'm going to keep my focus. And I just wanted to share that with you, though, because when you 50 years of work is a lot to then just take out of your file cabinets, and ship off. But there's a lightness to it. There's a lightness and a new direction and a new path for me in the world. And I begin to see it, and it feels really right. And it feels, again, as the writing has felt, like it is just what is my own to do in the world. Thank you. Thank you.